Hello and welcome to Cannabinoids for Neuropathy. My name is Megan Bang. I'm a registered nurse. This is a final project for one of my classes in my Master's of Science in Medical Cannabis Therapeutics. I'm really excited. Aloha from Hawaii as I'm recording this from Hawaii right now. I'm going to kick off this presentation with a little bit of basic information on why cannabis for neuropathy, and then we're going to go over some really high quality research studies that we have looking at different cannabinoids for different types of neuropathy, and then we're going to compare that to some lower quality real world evidence. And then we can kind of see the difference in this gold standard that we have set for research and pharmaceuticals, how that may not exactly align when utilizing a plant for medicine. First up, why are we utilizing cannabis for neuropathy? And there are multiple kinds of neuropathies. There's diabetic neuropathy, there's post-herpetic neuropathy, there are multiple kinds of neuropathies. And all of them might require slightly different approaches, but overall cannabis can work for many of them because of its activation of multiple receptors throughout the body. And activation of these different receptors oftentimes results in a dampening of nerve signaling, which then decreases neuropathic pain. Receptors most often involved are CB1 and CB2 receptors that are activated by CBG and THC, trip channel activation, and then other receptors oftentimes involved in both pain and inflammation. And these research studies I'm about to go over are considered the gold standard in research because they are randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials. This is a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial on PEA, or palmitolethanolamide, which is an endocannabinoid that our body makes. The job of PEA in our body is to decrease pain and inflammation, and oftentimes people with chronic pain are low in PEA. So in this trial, they gave 300 milligrams of micronized and emulsified PEA twice a day to people with neuropathic pain. And after 8 weeks, they found that it did significantly decrease pain, and they found an improvement in depression and stress, but not anxiety. So PEA may be a really effective supplement for those with neuropathic pain. These next two studies compared THC, CBD, the combination, and placebo for people with different types of neuropathic pain. This one was MS and spinal cord injury. Results of this one found no significant differences in the treatment groups versus the placebo groups. Of note, they used an isolate CBD and an isolate form of THC. So these are not whole plant products that contain hundreds of different compounds from the actual plant. This study was almost identical, except they're looking at peripheral neuropathy. Same thing, isolates of CBD, THC, and the combination versus placebo. Again, with this one, no significant differences in the treatment versus placebo group. This next one was a literature review of studies done on Sativex, which is 1-to-1 CBD to THC. This product is considered a full spectrum product. It's not whole plant because it's extracted with CO2 extraction, but it's going to have a few more cannabinoids than just isolate products that were in the previous studies. In the 16 trials that they looked at with this one, all 16 found that Sativex was effective in managing some sort of symptom from MS, whether it was pain, spasms, neuropathy, or improved mobility. When they compared these to isolate forms like Marinol or Epidiolex, those products were ineffective for managing these symptoms. This next small study looked at cannabidivarin, or CBDV, which is a minor cannabinoid, and they tested this for HIV-related neuropathy. This study was small, only 32 people, 16 in each group. They tested them and then they put them in the opposite group, either placebo or the treatment group. And in the results, they found that placebo actually outperformed CBDV in managing neuropathy. And here they also used a CBDV isolate, and this was ineffective in managing HIV-related neuropathic pain. This last study is an animal study looking at CBG for the treatment of chemo-induced neuropathy in mice. This study looked at multiple interventions for chemo-induced neuropathy, but the ones we're interested in are CBD plus CBG. They did a 1-to-1 ratio, and then CBG alone. They found that the combination of CBD plus CBG worked better than CBG alone for the chemo-induced pain, but it was ineffective for thermal pain. So we're kind of seeing the theme here that the more cannabinoids we have, the more likely we are to actually manage neuropathy. Now I want you to think of all the studies that we just went through, which are considered the gold standard of research, and compare that to this survey of 227 people. This is hot off the press. Only the abstract is actually available right now because this is so new. 227 people who use cannabis for neuropathic pain. In this study, they found that almost 88% of cannabis users who use it for neuropathic pain had a 30% reduction in their pain. On top of that, 83% reported a decrease in their prescription use. Fortunately, we don't yet have the information on the products that they used, But my guess is they're not using Epidiolex, and they were not prescribed Marinol, since those are not things that those medications are approved for. So I'm guessing that they're getting their products at a dispensary or possibly online. So on one side of the research, you have isolates being used and they are ineffective. But then on the other side, you have real world use demonstrating efficacy of cannabis for neuropathic pain. So in conclusion, PEA may be an effective supplement for some people with neuropathic pain. CBD alone is oftentimes ineffective, and THC, at least a small amount, is needed. CBG may possibly be effective for neuropathic pain. And overall, we have these gold standard, high quality randomized controlled trials showing that isolates are not effective for neuropathic pain. We definitely need more research on the real world use and the real world application of whole plant products that people are actually using out in real life, that are actually working to manage their symptoms. Here are my resources, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.